The U.S. is withdrawing from NATO. All of the command will be shifted over from the Americans to the Europeans, in particular the French and the Germans, by 2027. That's a big number. That is the date at which the Germans believe Russia is going to attack. That's by the time the French believe that Russia is going to attack. And that's by the time Zelensky in Ukraine believes Russia is going to attack. And America wants nothing to do with it. Trump wants nothing to do with it. NATO is the United States. Don't get it twisted. The majority of funding, the majority of troops, there's over 100,000 American troops in Europe. The majority of tanks, naval assets, Air Force is all American. The number 1, 2, 4, and 5 biggest air forces in the world is the United States. The Navy, the Army, the Air Force, and the Marines. The biggest armed personnel groups in Europe is France, Germany, and you guessed it, the United States of America, who's not even in Europe, as a shocker as that is. So the U.S. and Trump are having enough of this heavy lifting to NATO. Basically, as it was put in a report the other day by Politico, Trump is done lifting up the atlas of the globe. The American military has more bigger fish to fry, whether that's in the Middle East, whether that's with China and Taiwan, whether that's with Venezuela, and whether you like it or not, that's the reality. America has an adversary in Iran. America has an adversary in Venezuela and a major adversary now in China. And basically, Trump took a calculated risk. Do we want to worry so much about Russia in Europe? Because the U.S. military is big, but it really cannot be in everywhere at once. We cannot be in Europe if we want to have a war with Iran. We cannot be in Europe if we want to have a war with China. We cannot be everywhere at once. And that's why this military doctrine that was released that said NATO's that not much of an important ally anymore, said South Korea and Israel are the top American allies, which is why we're shifting all of our personnel from Europe to the Middle East, from Europe to Taiwan, South Korea, and Japan, because Japan was also up there as a major ally. This is a major doctrine shift that's been building up forever about the Israel lobby, about the Israel stuff. America protects Israel, greatest ally and stuff. Look, we say it all the time, but it is a reality now, and we can argue, we can yell at a wall, but look, my mission to you is to tell you what's happening. You can say whether it's good or bad to withdraw from Europe, whether to withdraw away from Russia, whatever you want. But the reality of the situation is the United States is shifting to the Middle East. The U.S. is shifting to protect Israel more than it is to protect Europe because they clearly see Iran as a bigger threat to Israel than Russia to a bigger threat to Europe, and also shifting over to Taiwan and South Korea. They see China as a bigger threat to Taiwan and American presence in the Asian Pacific rather than Russia over presence of Europe because, number one, Russia's never invaded NATO. Number two, Russia's never invaded the European Union. Number three, Russia's never invaded a country with U.S. troops housing it. So that's not really an issue. China's becoming a problem because of economic power, global influence, and trade. So Trump is obviously going to counter China any means necessary. That means withdrawing from NATO, which is a bulk, the biggest majority of the American military is in Europe. That's where everything is. All of our tanks, all of our naval assets, all of our Air Force, the majority of every single branch you can name of the U.S. military is in Europe. Are we abandoning Europe? No, not by any means. America will always probably defend Europe. That's just the American stance. But are we shifting and diversifying where we are in order to oppose China, Venezuela, and most importantly for the U.S., Iran? Yes, we are. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you liked what you heard and comment your thoughts.